Fuck you, I'm smarter, bitch.
I can't believe you're gonna rig this game.
We don't want to feel dumb anymore.
I feel so stupid right now.
We're here to find out if we're actually dumb. Don't ask us any questions.
Two bumbling morons. Fuck you, I'm smarter.
Welcome to Fuck You, I'm Smarter, the comedy game show where we compete with two guests to be crowned the smartest person in the room. Zoom, YouTube Live.
I love how it just rolls off the tongue.
It's just a thing now. Two guests today.
No, I love it when we have two guests because we don't have to play.
That's exactly right.
It's our fancy way of getting out of work.
Yeah, we are putting a duo to the test today.
First fighting for supremacy of their duo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's see how this goes because they have their own podcast, Sidework, and we hope it doesn't bleed into like their dynamic.
I hope not. What if we broke them up? I would feel way too responsible. I can't have that kind of heat on me. I hope they tie.
I hope they tie too, but we are not going to make any decisions.
No.
We let Marsha.
Let the chips fall where they may. Let Marsha make the call. Marsha, our fearless producer.
Yeah, we can't.
Okay.
We can't step in
Okay.
the middle of it. All right.
Is Marsha real or is that your?
Oh, bro, shushy, shush. We don't,
Who's she talking
I
to?
mean, this is crazy. What kind of a question? She's clearly right here.
I'm just going to go ahead and say, like any weeded shift at a restaurant, sometimes you might say or do things to your coworkers you don't mean, but at the end of the shift, you're all friends again. So that's how I'm feeling about this.
And you're all sharing tips,
today.
so you better be nice.
Not worried.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Well, good. Well, let's introduce our ladies since, I mean,
Absolutely.
let's be honest, they're already here.
Yeah.
Who are we kidding?
Andrea and Brooke from the Sidework podcast, which we did a
Yes.
couple of weeks ago now when you hear this. Writers, comedians, friends of our pod
That's
as
right.
well. We've known Brooke for a really long time, so it's nice to
Yeah.
see you, ladies.
Likewise.
Great to be back in your company. Look at this.
I
Having
know.
fun again.
I love
I
it.
like this foursome.
We decided when we did your podcast that we are due for a Hagsy hour.
Yes.
You'll have to listen
Oh, yeah.
to Sidework to know what that means.
Yeah.
But we are due. We're going out of town for a few weeks, and then Hagsy
Hagsy hour's
hour
coming.
all day.
Great. It's gonna be
Yeah. And that's trademarked, by the way.
It's
I don't.
not-
Any restaurants
right.
listening, you're not allowed. You cannot.
It's
it is
our
not-
thing. A Hagsy hour. It's
Exactly.
Hag Girl Summer.
Yeah.
It's we got it.
Yeah,
1000%.
or we're just there to see hags. Also, it could go.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
hag
all
watching.
of it.
hag spotting.
Let's find a prime hag watching spot.
Hag spotting. I
Oh,
love
God.
it.
So good.
Also, quick plug to Brooke is now officially hosting karaoke, I think, on Monday nights.
Yes. Where is that, Brooke? We're
Yes,
coming.
I
We are
know. I was
there.
like, it's got all the time in the world to grow. I know some people are still feeling a little like I have options for social life. I know that's still jarring to some folks, but it's at the Fable in Los Angeles, Eagle Rock, second, third, and fourth Mondays right now, 9 p.m. to
That's like almost all the Mondays.
It is. I'm going to get my first Monday back soon enough. I wanted to make sure I can handle it, not taking more than I can handle. Because when they did say it goes till 2 a.m., I was like, I'm sorry, what? I go to bed at 10. But
I don't even know what that is.
yeah, but you know what? It
anymore.
goes by. And even Andrea, you were there and had an early morning, and the power of karaoke compelled you to
It
stay
did.
out.
And I was a good girl, and I
You were.
really like drink my low alcohol beverages very slowly and switch to water. But
Smart.
it felt completely amazing to get back out there and sing karaoke again. I'm not gonna lie, all the feels. I got like the nervous shakes when I was done with my first song.
I did
You know what I
too.
mean?
I did too.
That's so great. I love
So
it.
anyways,
it.
come out and see
We're
me,
there.
y'all, if you're in the LA area. See all of us.
Yeah.
We're all going to be there. So
Yeah, we'll plug all of your Instagram and
Oh,
all your
sure.
handles at the end, and they can kind of check out.
You could just
what's
plug my
going
Venmo.
on. Okay, we'll plug your Venmo.
With money,
That's a good
like
idea.
plug it with
Plug it
your
up
money.
full of money.
Yes.
Thank you.
There we
So,
go.
ladies, how do you ladies know each other?
We met in an improv class. It's a tale as old as time.
Tale as old as time.
Man.
I love it.
Love
They
it.
really some of the best long-standing lady friendships have come
Absolutely.
from moving from wherever you lived to a city to pursue a dream. We were like
Right.
22 going on 23. I was fresh off the boat from the Detroit area. Andrea just came in to work. She got transferred from Abuca de Beppo in Nebraska.
Yeah, I wasn't
Buca
planning on
de
pursuing
Beppo.
comedy per se. I was just there for the Buca de Beppo job. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I was. Yeah, Brooke and I met in Chicago. Yeah, and doing improv.
Wow.
I
Both
subbed
were waiting
in.
tables. Yep,
I subbed in. It wasn't even my class. I subbed
Nope.
in on Andrea's class, and we were
Wow.
friends forever from that moment
I
forward.
love that.
Yeah.
I love it. So as
I also love Buca de Beppo. I'm not gonna lie. Now, are they still around?
Oh yeah.
They are still around. It's different than it used to be. It is not the same. I did go like a couple years ago or a year and a half ago. Whenever the second It movie came out, I think that was the fall prior to lockdown. Because I went to Universal City with two friends, like kind of like a jokey night go to Buca de Beppo and like go see the second It movie. And the entire time I was just like, okay, I'm ready. This is going to happen. And then like all I did was point out the things that were wrong and different, like our entire meal to like all of my friends.
Of course, because you worked there. You knew how good it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
I did. I still have a soft place in my heart for Buca.
I
Buca.
do love that we're telling time by It movies. So it sounds actually really
probably not
appropriate.
My
for
time would
what's
be
going
like,
on
my
in the world.
timeline would be like, well, that was probably around the first time I picked up the novel. So I was 12.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be that for me too, because I was like, oh, I remember when like the Tim Curry miniseries came out, and I couldn't sleep because he was so scary as Pennywise. All I thought about was, and when I moved to Omaha, Nebraska from California, where I had seen it, and then they had the big open sewers there, which they don't have. I was like, what the fuck? Where have you brought us? Like, I was like, we're all going to float down here. Great.
Wait.
No, I totally remember that when I watched. I thought it was a movie. I didn't even realize it was a miniseries. I guess I watched it all together as a child, and then I watched it at my friend Nicole's house, who was like 2 houses away from me growing up. And when I walked back home, there was one of those sewer grates in between our houses, and I'm like, how do I get home? I have to go
Can't
around
walk
it.
past this.
I can't do it.
Also,
Yeah, for years.
I can't get past Andrea. You moved from California to Nebraska.
Yeah, my father worked for Union Pacific Railroad his whole career. So we were transferred from Northern California. We lived in Lodi, and then to Omaha, Nebraska. We went after that.
So were you born in California?
I was born in Utah, in Ogden, Utah.
Okay, so you moved around a lot.
Oh yeah, just from Utah to California, California to Nebraska, and then all my family's still in Nebraska.
Nice. What kind of a student were you growing up?
Oh God, I was like really. I talk a good game. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
I talk a good game. I'm not good at homework, really. I wasn't ever good at homework. I excelled in English. I mean, a lot of like more of the right brain things, I guess you would say. Terrible at math until ding, 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 I got a tutor, and then I was fine. It turns out
just education is
right.
what you needed.
I just learned differently, turns out, like so many people. So I think it was one of those things where, especially, in the 90s and suburban Omaha, Nebraska, it was just like it's fucking cookie cutter. It's just like everybody learns the same. If you don't get it, then you're a problem. Nobody
it's
ever
your
thinks
fault.
like you might need help,
Right.
But
or to just be taught differently. Oh wow, I'm really showing off.
Oh my
the girls.
God,
I didn't
for
mean
sure.
for this.
Ooh.
Yeah, let those puppies out.
Solo. Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, once I like actually got it, I started having fun with it. But like, I was okay. Not great. Not great.
What kind of a crowd did you run with? Like, who were you with like the drama
theater
kids or like
and like kind of the skater kids, stoner kids, punk kids,
like us.
like the alternative indie rock kids, and then I did a lot of theater in school and outside of school, like community theater. So
Same. I love that drama nerd like skateboarder mashup that happens with a lot of us, like I feel like she was more goth, I was more punk, but there was like this I'm too cool for the drama kids. I'm gonna hang out with this crew,
it's so
and then I'm gonna go to drama class,
you're like I'm not gonna be like the band chorus like stagecraft kids. That's a whole different
right
whole different group.
people.
Yeah. all wonderful people mostly, you know.
I was absolutely like skater, like huge, like music fan. Also, like going into
the
theater kids.
The cool theater kids.
Yeah, only the cool ones.
Right. Let's
the
get
ones
that
who
straight.
had like.
I definitely hung out with the kids that would like go to the back of this like school to smoke cigarettes at break, you know.
Yeah,
like,
that was
practice.
Kelly. Yeah, for sure. What about you, Brooke? What kind of student were you?
I mean, I got it done. You know, I got it done. I'm definitely a procrastinator. Have been a procrastinator since I was born, probably.
Same.
But yeah, I also like talk about like, you know, being schooled in the 80s, which is like Andrea and I's experience. It's like you go back and you're just like, no wonder you come out of this with like low self-esteem or thinking you aren't good. And I also went to fucking Christian school, kindergarten to 8th grade. So it's really about indoctrinating your head with what would Jesus do versus giving you a decent education. In third grade, it's the weirdest thing. I have so many weird memories. Our school didn't have room they just decided third grade. So every morning we would get on a bus and be bussed out to this weird spot on the other side of town called Gethsemane, which we all know is the Garden of Gethsemane. It was so weird. It was a freestanding schoolhouse that's where
Just
third
for
grade
third
happened
grade.
for third graders.
Like
This is
instead
so
of just
bizarre.
getting like, they couldn't just get like a couple portables to put on.
Wow.
It's like the 13th floor. Like, we're just going to try to sort of skip over it, shove it in the corner.
There's
like,
no third grade in this grade school. And so
I'm like
this is
seriously
the
like, what were they grooming you for? Like ultimately,
don't
you know?
know.
So
seriously, that's
weird.
psychotic.
I know. I'm just kind of remembering this too, and like, of course, like back in the day, those big old like huge bucket seat buses where, and I remember the bus driver got into a fucking accident commuting us to Gethsemane. A bunch of us went flying over seats. People's heads and faces were bleeding, and it's
Oh
like,
my God.
Yeah.
All because they just couldn't keep third grade on campus.
I don't know, but so it was just a
So
weird thing.
weird.
But yeah, I was shamed a lot. I definitely learned differently. I'm also a really like literal person. I've learned, you know, I've just been shamed. I was a brownie, then got kicked out of brownies. I never made it to Girl Scouts. But I don't know what to
why
say.
do
My
you need me
brain
to
works
do
really
this
different.
thing?
I'm an intelligent human, as I've come to learn, but there was a lot of public shaming and discipline in front of the class. So you
that's
get
not
shut down after a teacher
Right.
drags you up to the front of the class by your ear and then tells everyone how stupid you are. And you're just like, I guess I'll never
that's
open my mouth
abuse.
again.
Yeah. Horrible.
Wow.
A lot of there's some fun sexual abuse too. It's got everything, but
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow.
so
And listen,
anyways,
you grew
I
up-
learned how to
yeah.
I learned how to protect myself. That's what I learned in
Right.
grade school
Yeah.
and beyond. Then high school, I guess, like, I mean, this is funny. I was a cheerleader. I was like but I hung with everybody. I would be hanging out. Here's my thing is I'd be wearing my stupid cheerleading uniform, but hanging out with the burnouts and like cracking
Love
jokes and
I
shit
love
like
it,
that.
yeah.
And then by the end of high school, even though I was like a really, really good track runner and athlete and all this shit, I desperately wanted to do the school play. And they both happened in the spring after school. And my track
you had to
coach,
choose?
I know my track coach came in his stupid fucking track uniform and whistle and tried to drag me off stage for the spring musical. And he's like, "You're supposed to be doing the 4x200 relay, Van Poppelen." And I was like, "But I want to sing."
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the musical? Do you remember what it was?
South Pacific.
Oh.
Oh my
Pacific.
God. South Pacific. I
Nice.
did that in college.
Yes.
So
Nice.
crazy. So
Oh my
what'd you
God,
do?
how
Did you
fun.
do the run or did you do
I quit.
the play?
They were, and then that whole thing, it's just so funny that the way, and this is how my parents' brains worked too. They're like, you've got one little shred of athletic
Right.
ability. You're doing that
Yeah.
for life.
Yeah.
And I was like, just because I can run doesn't mean I want to. And
Right.
the way society in the 90s and shit like that too is like, you really fucking shit up for yourself, Van Poppelen, quitting track. And it's like, I went on to be an entertainer for a living.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
That's how
I
you
run
make your
different
money.
kinds of races.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was like, who makes a life out of being a good track runner?
Right.
Please.
Right.
So
That's
anyways.
amazing.
I love that neither of us even touched on middle school because let's never go there again.
Well, I was just
Never.
there.
Leave it in the past.
I was just there the whole time. It was the kindergartners were in the building. It was so fucked up because the far side of the building were like 14-year-olds who were smoking and punching each other, and then there were babies that were wandering the halls with us.
Insane.
It's very messed up. Christian school is very stupid.
Yeah.
So it was like all grades.
All grades. I went to school my entire life with the same fucking kids, and they think that like we're
Wow.
lifelong friends, and I'm like, we're not. But
right.
Yeah.
Except for that
Let them
third
think
grade
it. It's
/
fine.
blip
Whatever.
year that Brooke
that
had.
that blip year.
That blip year, I'd love to know like the meaning of that. Like, well, what year doesn't matter? Third grade. Let's just
grade.
ship it on over there for third
They
grade.
can afford to lose about an hour out of their day every day
To
of
travel
education
to a different
to
location.
commute to a different building. What the fuck?
That is so weird.
How come we
Well,
didn't just get dropped off at the different school when you go to third grade? I don't know.
That is
and it
mean,
wouldn't
we
have
just
heat
had-
sometimes. It was a mess.
Right. I mean, this is the
Ugh.
thing. We just had year-round school, and that just solved the problem of not having enough room for the kids all at the
Right.
same time.
right. I
Whatever.
never did
Yeah.
that. Did you do that, Andrea? Did you
In
do
California,
year-round?
and I don't think it's really done much anymore, but it was kind of amazing.
I'm
I
sure
think for-
parents were
Yeah.
all about it.
and for teachers, I think was really good too because you're like 3 on
You
2
big
off.
breaks,
I think, or,
yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. I remember in Florida they would vote for that like every few years, and some schools
it
would
ever
do it or
actually
some
happen?
districts. I don't know. I feel like some
did.
schools did it.
I
and
can't
some
even.
didn't.
I can't remember if I ever did it or not.
Yeah. But I like that idea because
Yeah.
like what do your parents do when it's a break? You're like in camp, you're doing this,
Right,
like the
it's like
money
this
that must be
month.
This
spent.
entire
Yeah, of-
pandemic ruined
I know.
families, you know?
I
Yeah.
know.
'Cause that's
Yeah.
the plan.
So crazy.
Teachers are supposed to look after your kids 5 days a week.
Right.
You know?
Like that's the only way. Like weekends are dreadful for parents, I'm sure. Like I have to spend time with my child.
Well, it shows what your kind of mom you're gonna be.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't have kids yet. I'm holding on for as long as I can. Well,
All
ladies,
right.
should we play?
Yes.
Let's play.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into more of your relationship with Jesus, Brooke. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, please.
There is
Um,
none. We're on a break. We've been on a break since 9th grade.
Third grade.
So when
Since
we,
third
when
grade,
you guys,
when I lost when Jesus was not behind the wheel.
you were like, what would
right.
Jesus
Just
do?
to-
Not ship me to this weird classroom in
Yo.
third grade. So when you guys did your homework for this show, you both were like aggressively against math. Brooke more than Andrea. Brooke was
Uh-huh.
like, I
No,
quit
I think
college.
she said she quit
She
college.
quit college because of math, right? Is that what
They
you
were
said?
trying to make
Yeah.
her do math. Is that
Basically,
right?
they were like, if you want, I was like trying every possible. At this point, I was just switching majors to see if any of them didn't have math as a prerequisite. And
Yeah.
at this point, I think because it was just a stupid state school, it wasn't a liberal arts, it wasn't any of that shit. And basically, it was like you're a semester away from a degree, but you're gonna have to do math. And I was like, fuck it, I'm out of here. And then I moved to Chicago. I just left
Amazing.
college. I was there for 6 years.
Where'd
and
you
then
go to
didn't get a
college?
degree.
Oh my God. Where was that?
Michigan State University.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to be
Well,
there either.
Right,
Ladies,
right.
we're going to math.
Fuck you, I'm smarter.
All right, let's do it.
I mean,
Well,
here's the thing:
here's
is
the
I'm
deal.
not
ready.
I'm not terrible at it. Just fractions
I'm
are
facing
great
my
for
fears.
cooking.
Yeah, geometry was
I-
terrible for me.
That was a
I
tough
made
one.
this side work appropriate for your podcast Side Work,
Thank
which is a
you.
podcast all about the
Awesome.
restaurant
Awesome.
business. I know you guys both were in the restaurant business for years and years and years. You know how to do a check. You know how to tip. I made it as side work friendly as possible.
Amazing.
Okay.
Can I ask, or do we just take turns answering, or do we just shout them out as quick as we can?
I think it would be fun because there's only 5 questions to shout it out as quickly as you can.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to do a little math game called Math Mess because math is a mess.
Okay.
And it's also called What would math do? What would
What
Jesus?
would math do?
What would Jesus not do math?
Would Jesus do math?
It's brunch related.
Okay.
Love brunch.
I ask you to pay attention. Write down the answers from each question because they're all kind of connected. Okay, so answer number 1 will lead into question number 2. So just like keep a tally on your piece of paper what we decided the answers were.
Okay.
So if you know the answer, just yell it out. Well, we're playing today. It's Andrea against Brooke. Kelly and I are just going to be your teachers. And if if we get to a point where someone needs a lifeline, you can ask one of us, but we probably won't know the answer.
Okay. Great.
All right. Great.
Or if I need to call my therapist.
So basically,
what
what you're saying is there's no spare in the trunk, is what you're saying.
There's no spare.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're the spare, and we're already like on
Deflated.
our last.
You're
one.
deflated.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're at brunch, ladies.
Yay.
We're at brunch. The
Hashtag
mimosas
girl
are
boss.
flowing. Woo! We've got some Bloody Marys happening.
Oh yeah, there's
on the
some
menu.
beautiful hags walking by.
Yes, there's so many hags, and you currently only have $60 in your bank account because you thought that going on a 3-day post-COVID food and beverage binge was more important than being fiscally responsive because, look, the past year and a half has been tough.
Yeah.
So you've got $60 in the bank account, but you're still going to fucking brunch,
They
okay?
won't take it away. They can't take it from me.
Today, you get your bi-monthly paycheck of $14.50, okay? So you get paid $14.50, which is just
$14.50.
no, $1,450.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never
You're
seen
ba-
that.
Yeah, you're
Ever.
Brooke, your karaoke job, you're killing it. Okay?
Right.
So $1,450
Monthly?
twice a month. So every
Got
2
it.
weeks you get
Got
that.
it.
Now your rent is $1,400. Okay, and that's also due today. So you got paid today, and that's due today. $1,400. Once you pay your rent, how much money will you have left in your bank?
$110.
All right, Andrea gets a point.
I let her
Brooke-
finish the question.
Just yell it.
Just
yell it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That was very respectful of you, Brooke.
Okay.
There will be no more of that.
But apparently you don't get any advantages for that. So
Okay.
Yeah.
be more
that's
of an
how that's how
asshole.
the rules work in this game.
It's how America works. Be an asshole.
It is so true.
So-
I know.
Yeah.
You've got your 110. You go to brunch with some friends. The hags are there. And you decide to order an Eggs Benedict for $18. And you see that Bloody Marys are on the menu for $15 a pop. So you get your Eggs Benedict for $18. And you're like, how many Bloody Marys can I buy? So how many Bloody Marys can you buy
3.
with the money you have left?
3.
No, that is incorrect.
Oh,
Brooke, do you
wait.
want to try
4.
to steal?
4.
Got it.
4. It's 4.
Do you want to try to steal, Brooke?
Wait, how many you
So
can
you-
have based on what you
So
have?
we started with 110.
Oh,
You
got
got
it.
Eggs Benedict for $18.
Got
You're
it.
gonna spend the
got
rest
it.
of the money on Bloody
You're
Mary.
spending the rest on Bloody Marys. They're $15 a pop. How
Okay.
many could you get?
Okay. All right. Got it.
What's the answer, Brooke?
You
You can do it.
You can get about.
Is there a time limit?
You get 5. 6.
Yes!
There
There
I
it
mean,
is.
I could have yelled that out.
There you
understand the
go.
rules.
You open your mouth incorrectly.
Yeah, but you said 5, which was incorrect too. So then technically, I should have a chance to answer.
But then
again.
she just said 6 right after it, so
She
I don't
did.
know.
So I don't
I don't know
I
either.
could
It's
see it
fine.
both. I could see it
It's
both
fine.
ways. Jesus doesn't do math, so we don't know.
Okay, so you decide not to get 6 Bloody Marys. Too many Bloody Marys, okay? So you get the Eggs Benedict and you get 3 Bloody Marys. So that's
Okay,
all you
that's
get.
fair.
Eggs Benedict and 3 Bloody Marys. How much do you leave for tip if you leave 20%?
Okay.
Eggs Benedict, 3 Bloody Marys. How much do you leave for tip if you leave
$9.60.
No, that is incorrect.
No. Wait.
Keep going. Anyone yell it out.
Wait, you do
what do you mean? $18?
Eggs
and you get-
Benedict, $18.
Right.
3 Bloody Marys.
got it.
Did I do the
3 Bloody
math wrong?
Marys.
Got it.
Yeah,
you
3 Bloody
do
Marys.
$12 tip.
Yes,
Actually,
12.6,
technically, it wouldn't-
but I'll give it to you. Andrea knew it. She knew 12.6.
No, I just keep doing things wrong. I'm shutting down.
There's only one last question.
That's
Don't
what
shut
Matt does to
down.
me too. I totally get it.
Andrea,
Don't let Matt
I am.
beat you.
My heart is racing. I've never been
Okay.
so nervous in my life.
The math is over. I just have one more bonus question. Okay. This is a bonus tipping question, but it's not really math. So you already got through the math. See, I was nice. I was a nice teacher. According to money.com, some millennials are really bad tippers.
Ugh.
Millennials are known to be foodies, and they tend to dine out in upscale casual dining establishments more than the older generations. Yet roughly blank of Gen Y. Is Gen Y millennials?
No, that's before.
That's kind of like
millennials.
that's
That's
younger
like
us.
Z and millennial in between. That's
Okay,
who I am.
okay.
Mhm.
Sorry,
So
Gen
I get
Y.
confused. I don't.
maybe Gen Z.
Wait, are they
Gen
older than
Z
us or
is
younger than
the
us?
really youngies
After
right
millennials.
now.
Okay.
They're the
so-
youngest.
So roughly blank of Gen Y tips less than 15% at restaurants. Is it A, 1/5, B, 1/4, or C, 1/3?
I'm
Roughly
going
you're
blank of
You're
Gen
talking
Y.
about our age people though, because we're like Gen Y.
Gen Y.
So our age.
Yeah,
think
I'm gonna
that's-
say yes.
that
That's
what
what
we
Gen
are?
Y is. I'm gonna say A.
Although
You're
we're a
saying
lot
1/5?
older than the people you're talking about.
I'm gonna say
What do
1/5. Millennials are Gen Y is older than millennials.
Way older, yeah.
Gen Y is between the Gen X and Gen
And millennial.
millennials.
Okay.
Mm.
I'm talking
So
Gen
that's like
Y.
us. Okay.
You are
that
talking
is
Gen Y.
like us. So like, yeah.
Okay.
So what do you think, Brooke? 1/5 is not correct.
Oh, tip less than
1/4
15 cents?
or 1/3?
less than
Tip less?
15%.
Tip less than 15%.
These motherfuckers.
Wow. I would say a quarter do it.
It's 1/3.
That's
we both have.
terrible.
Holy shit.
In our age
1/3.
range?
We should know better.
I know.
That's
It's
not
really
me.
upsetting.
But are they? Is this article saying that like Gen Y is worse than millennials or better?
Yes.
Oh,
They're saying worse. They're
interesting.
saying worse. Sorry, I worded it weird. They're saying that even though millennials, they must have had another percentage that I cut out. Gen Y is worse. Less than 1/3 tip less than 1/3 tips less than 15% at restaurants.
But the difference is statistically, we went on to do stupid things like try and own homes, which these earlier generations will never know. Don't worry about it. So they're like, brunch and tipping all day, baby. I live with my parents. It's the truth.
Right.
So this is a great segue into your podcast, Sidework Podcast. We're going to go to recess and talk about your podcast for a minute.
Okay, I feel calm again.
Yeah, back to safety. The math is over. So I love your podcast because A, it's funny because you ladies
Correct.
are incredibly funny, and
This
B,
is all
I choose
these
A.
are facts.
A is correct.
Yeah.
that is correct.
Okay.
But also B is correct that it's informative, and you guys give a lot of statistics. You talk about what's going on in the restaurant business right now. You know, I think a lot of our listeners know if you walk down the street and look, like everyone's hiring, everybody's trying to hire right now. So you talk about a lot of topical stuff that's going on with restaurants. How long have you had your podcast together?
It'll be 3 years in
Ooh.
the winter. So
Yeah, November.
Amazing.
about
Awesome.
2.5, just over.
Did you ladies ever wait tables together?
We did.
Oh, indeed.
Where?
At a place called Bad Dog Tavern in Chicago, which
I
doesn't
love
exist
it.
anymore.
And now
Incredible.
hilarious.
Dog.
Bad dog. Life has come full circle. And our friend who has employed me for karaoke has purchased this bar that used to be called the Old Chalet. Andrea and I are probably going to have shows there. Maybe she's going to do a karaoke night with me, what have you. The interior of this place looks just like our old job, Bad Dog
It is
Tavern.
very
Wow.
similar.
Stop.
There
That's
was-
so
there's
weird.
There's like stone walls, and we had stone floors at Bad Dog. It's very cavernous and dark. I
Wow.
mean, this bar's cooler, but the feels are there.
It's pretty.
Like,
I
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
They're
like, I
building
feel
I love it.
huge. They're building a huge back patio, which we had a huge patio at Bad Dog as well.
Is that where the shows are going to happen, or is it in a room? Like
We
where
don't.
you're- like, the
We don't know
karaoke
yet.
and
We
stuff?
actually do not know. There'll
Oh,
definitely be room to do shows
yes.
in that back patio when
Cool.
it
Yes,
when it
he's-
opens.
he's hoping the back can be a dedicated space with its own fun little. He's turning a Tough Shed into another bar out back, so there will be a bartender in the Tough Shed, and
Cool. I
that will
love
be a dedicated space for people who can do live podcasts, comedy shows, fun shit like that. And then the inside can be just for regular old drunks.
Or karaoke.
Yeah,
And
which we also
karaoke.
love,
Every bar
so.
needs that.
But that's
Yeah.
great. I've been location scouting a little bit because we want to do a live show soon.
Oh, very fun.
And I've been going to a ton of different venues and going to a bunch of different comedy shows. And I'm like, what is happening in LA right now? Like everything is kind of garbage. So I think that's amazing that he's opening that, because I'm going to these places and it's like the sound is bad, or there's nowhere to put anyone, or it's like too many people in a small space. I'm like, we need to figure this out.
We do, and we do not have to make the show about comedy. I was just laughing so hard because I was like, okay, I get that comedy's been shut down, and there are people whose whole identities have been hinged on doing comedy. So there's this like really desperate rush to be like comedy at all costs, and like every
Yes.
venue that is inappropriate is like comedy on Thursday, and it's like, we're gonna be the best comedy show this hot dog vendor's ever hosted.
Yes.
And it's
true.
like, calm down.
It's true. I keep seeing all these little pop-ups everywhere. So I
Comedy in the toilet.
Like, ooh, I'm like, what's this location? And I'm like, no, like people are bringing in their own chairs and their sound systems and all their own stuff. And I'm like,
Is
what
this necessary?
is happening right now?
Call me snobby. I will return to comedy when there is a stage, a green room, and a paycheck.
Yes.
So get the fuck out of my face.
Woo! Get it.
So, Brooke, when did you decide you wanted to get into comedy? Did you know, like, I know you did the play when you were younger. Like,
Oh,
what happened from there?
Oh, I thought she quit the play, or did you quit running?
I quit. So I quit. There's a lot of quitting. So I quit track. Then I did the play.
Oh, you quit
then
track to do the
I,
play.
Yep. Then I quit college and
Got it,
decided
because of the math.
that I was just like, I had a friend who was having so much fun in Chicago at Second City and Improv Olympic. But I had lived under the guise. Well, I was like, well, I'm wrong. I was supposed to be a theater major. That's the only way you can do improv in these big cities. And then she was like, no, you just pay. You just pay them to be a comedian. I was like, what? So then, yeah, I waited tables and stayed at my folks until the fall. So I went with $2,000 in savings. Moved to Chicago. That money disappeared immediately.
Immediately.
And so was waiting tables, sign up for my first ever improv class, which was so fun. Really great actor. Dan Backadall was my level 1 teacher, first day ever. If I showed you a picture, you'd be like, oh my God, that guy, he's in everything right now. But and then it was just fully like, I love this. Then I knew there was an open mic happening within walking distance of where I lived for stand-up. And so I was like, I'm just curious. I want to go check this out. And I kind of stalked the open mic for a month straight. I went every Monday and I just sat in the back and got more and more and more furious at how stupid and bad so many of the male comedians were. And so I was just like, this is kind of my origin story where I'm like, I'm not going to be the best, but there's no way I'm going to be the worst. Because these people fucking suck. And that's how I felt confident, is I was like, it's not going to be a slam dunk. Andrea, you were there. I fell off stage. I fell off stage the very first time I did stand up. I didn't work very hard on my jokes, but I went to a vintage store and got really cool high heel 70s boots. And then the heel crumbled as I was leaving to go off stage, and the whole heel broke off. And I was like, whoa! woo, and I fell.
In her defense, that stage was like not up to code. Like, let's just say that.
Right.
Also, throwing
Nor were
it
those
way
boots.
back, but with a very topical relevancy now. Brooke pretty much slayed her SARS jokes at the time. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
SARS jokes.
Woo, remember when SARS was crazy?
Oh yeah, baby. So this was 2003, and SARS was all the rage. So I did my first ever
All the
set
rage.
with a fucking with a fucking N95 mask on my face.
Oh my
Wow,
god.
we have come full circle.
Yeah,
You're so
yeah.
ahead of
Wow,
your time.
Andrea. God, you never forget your first time.
Incredible.
It was great. I thought she was amazing. I was like the proud friend. I was like, she's so fucking great.
I was like, people are definitely interested, you know? So
Yeah.
that's not bad. I'm like, I've got a
Yeah.
surgical mask on, and then I fucking ate shit and fell off the stage. And so they were like, yeah,
Incredible.
who was
They'll
that?
never forget it. They'll never forget it. Well, I went to a comedy show last night, and I'll tell you
I'm
what.
sorry.
The men are still telling bad
Terrible
jokes.
jokes.
Oh my god.
I
was
can't
like,
do it. I can't do
Nick
it, Lindsay.
Turner got on stage and he saved the whole night. I was
Thank
like, Nick
God.
Turner, like, thank you, Jesus. Like, I was like, you just saved the whole night. There was nothing funny happening on stage at all.
I can't do
was
it.
Really bad.
We've all lived through so much disappointment and
I
mediocrity
can't.
this past year and a
Yes.
half. I'm
don't-
not
oh,
about
yeah,
to
I
go
have-
watch this.
No,
Yeah.
I have no threshold for that anymore.
I
really
mean, it
don't.
was
Like,
rough.
Bye.
Andrea, did you ever do stand up?
I dabbled, but it just doesn't bring me the joy or pain that does a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. Where's
I-
your joy in comedy?
I definitely like leaned hard into improv and sketch for a long time.
Nice.
You know, I'm great at parties.
She's good at karaoke. You need to invite her to your wedding. That's where she really takes the stage.
I mean,
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, like I'm a pretty A+ host, I would say.
Yeah,
At a lot of
yeah.
things. Yeah, it's just getting more confident. I just think there was stand up and I just never truly vibed.
Bonded.
But definitely have had like the timing bug like my whole life, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amen to that.
Yes.
If I would have started this, I always start things too late, and then
Yeah.
by the time I
Yep.
get good at it, it's on to the next thing that's popular,
Right.
and it's
I think we can all relate to that.
yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
world's ending, so that's a timing thing. I was like totally born.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all gonna make it maybe another
We're
decade.
born
so
during
like,
the apocalypse, basically.
I know,
Exactly.
I know. But
like
like,
we're
I
the
love
last
comedy.
generation.
Comedy runs. I don't
It
know.
runs deep in your veins, Andrea.
It's like it's my lens. It's how I see the world.
Totally.
I think all of us have that comedy lens on all the time. Always yucking. Put me in a room. Fucking. That's why I'm
Yeah.
like I want to do punch ups. Like put me in a room. I want to like
Yes.
make dumb jokes.
Hmm.
I do
Yeah.
really well
Yeah.
playing off other people. You know.
I know one of Andrea's
Right.
stand-up jokes. She's like, "I've been married so long, my dorsal fin has gone limp," or whatever.
Oh
the
yeah,
blackfish,
that's
the
true.
blackfish joke.
Yeah, it was when. Whatever the orca, what's the orca documentary that was popular?
Blackfish.
Yeah, when Blackfish and like when orcas are in the captivity, their dorsal fins flop over.
Captivity.
Yeah, I was like, I've been in captivity so long, the dorsal fins
That's-
flopped over.
That's a very
Yeah,
funny
I
that's
like
a pretty
that.
I
good one.
love
That is.
that.
It works with the visual too. It's nice.
It's a
just
good one.
very.
I think that I was like, but then, you know, if
sad
you like release me back
thing.
into the wild, watch out, you know. It's like
I
I'm
love
just,
it.
yeah. I'll have to look up that notebook. I look at how
Yeah,
embarrassed
let's
I
get
am.
it
I
going.
feel now I'm just like, yeah, I wrote a joke. Get me out of here. Like that's how I feel
Well,
when I do.
Lindsay and I wrote a song one time. We wrote one song together. Performed it for years. Just this
yeah,
one
yours,
song.
just this one song.
We were like, oh, should we bring it back? We're like, actually, it's about turning 30.
Yeah, so
and
we'd have to
we're
change the
almost
lyric.
40.
Yeah.
So no, we're not singing.
Yeah.
I think
Like
that's
that
over.
ages. That really ages that song.
Actually, it's pretty funny if you
Ages us.
insisted on doing it and then be like, "We wrote that song 10 years
Forever.
ago."
Yeah. And be like.
Yeah. We're
And
not
be like,
changing
and then go,
it.
and
I
then go.
think
Fuck
that's
you,
true.
Bo Burnham. Like right after.
Yeah. I think that's true. Actually, we should bring it back.
We should bring it back on your 40th birthday.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Done.
All right, ladies, let's get back to class. Kelly has a real fun one for you. I promise you that.
So, Brooke, you told us that you belong to a group called WISE in high school,
Mm-hmm.
which is Women in Space and Engineering, and it's
Yeah.
basically what STEM is now. And you said that you, let's see what you said. You built radios.
Yeah.
You mixed the chemical compounds that make pantyhose.
Yes.
Oh.
Because it was women. Is that why they made you do it? Because it was
Right.
all girls.
I
They're
guess,
like, well,
like, they
that's
were like-
something that you'll be interested in.
I know, but they're like, well, these ladies probably want a little souvenir to take home of chemistry.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It was really wild, though. Anyways, yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, and you said you got to operate a submerged nuclear reactor.
Incredible.
I did.
That is what I want to hear about because that is the basis of this game. We're
Okay.
talking about nuclear power plants.
Oh,
Woohoo!
fun.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we had this amazing. This was something I was like, I'm going on and on about education. I realize it really opens a door in people's brains when you're like, tell me about this. And you're like, wow, with some hindsight behind me, this was all extremely fucked up. I wanted to say that, like, I really hated most of our male teachers in high school because they were all like the football or basketball coach who then they were like, how about you also teach chemistry and literally don't give a fuck and only like have. It would always be like the senior star basketball player would like be wandering the halls and like be like, hey, Mr. D. And he'd be like, sorry, class, I'll be right back. And then he'd like ditch us and then go talk to like a senior star basketball player. And I was like, I hate this.
I hate
So
him.
we had the most amazing female biology teacher named Mrs. I think it was Mrs. Krickenberg. I could be wrong. I have to look that up. I feel so bad. She was great. She loved biology. I didn't realize I loved biology. And so she asked like students that she thought were interested at the most if they wanted to be part of a small group on the weekends where we chartered, again, a bus and we're taken to another school. But I remember we'd have to be there at like 7 a.m. because it takes about an hour to drive to the U of M campus. We were often going to U of M or other campuses around the Michigan area. And so it's just like 1 week, the focus was on mechanics. Second week would be electronics. And then, when we went to
Pantyhose for 3 through 6.
pantyhose, radio. my little radio that I built was dope because basically I showed my dad, I was like, if you just turn to a static station, I can tune in and I'm going to broadcast from the back seat of your fucking Camaro. And so they
That's
were
rad.
They were really impressed by that. I wish I still had those pump up the volume skills, but the nuclear reactor, I just remember, I didn't understand that much about it, but because it's so powerful, and as we now know, a lot of nuclear energy is subdued as it's emerged underwater. The water helps keep all those wild atoms or whatever from nuking all of us, as they say.
Oh, man.
But
I am not going to win this category. I know it already.
That's
Well,
okay.
let's
We have
see,
a
let's
game for
see.
you.
Andrea, I
next.
think
It's
you just
all
need
good.
to preemptively shout Chernobyl. Anyway.
I was going to do that anyway.
I know.
We're not going to talk. Yeah, I'm not going to talk. We're not going to talk about any disasters.
No meltdowns. Okay, great. But
No
but
meltdowns,
basically they were like, does someone, obviously with supervision, does someone want to like push the button to further submerge it? And I was like, I do. And then I got up there and I was like, am I going to kill anyone?
Is this going to blow up?
Is this
if I
going to
press
blow
this
up?
button?
And it was very thrilling to be like, I've got presidential power, and then to hit it. You couldn't really see much.
You couldn't see it, but you knew that you had a lot of power in that.
We were
in that
standing on like
finger.
one of those like metal bridges around. We were like in the nerve center of this where this reactor was. So
cool.
it was just very.
Wow.
You don't get to see that stuff, and especially when you're encouraged to like just be a cheerleader. STEM was awesome. Not
Yeah.
STEM. Wise was really awesome, and it was because the other important thing is most of your activities around education are spoiled because they mix the genders, and this was such a cool chance to be just women, just young girls. And it was a lot of us who some of us didn't really know each other very well because of what we were into, our social cliques, and we all became really good buddies.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Pretty
Amazing.
nice.
I'm
You
glad
just,
that
like,
they had that
take
program.
Stupid men out of the equation, and then
This-
everybody
I was just
wins.
thinking
How
This
you
teacher
can
understood
thrive
that.
without them keeping you down.
Exactly. And
even
this
if
teacher
it's
got
just
that.
subtly,
got that.
mentally, like yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really
as soon
really
as
cool.
you said that, I was like,
That would feel
Wow,
so much
that's-
safer, so much more
yeah.
free.
I
you
would
could
do
feel like you
that
could
on
ask
my weekends now.
questions.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, can you
same.
imagine a teenage boy like, oh, I'm gonna get out of the way. I'm gonna submerge the reactor, and then he's like,
oh,
oops.
let me press the button.
He's like, launch, and then boom, we're all
Yeah.
dead. You know.
Exactly. No, that's the difference.
That's
you
the difference.
submerged the nuclear reactor in the way it was supposed to work.
Exactly.
And he would have blown up.
He would have
you
blown
know,
up all of
He
Ann
would
Arbor,
have blown up
Michigan.
all of Russia or something. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started with our nuclear. I don't know what this game is called.
Nuclear. I think
It's
it's
called
pronounced nuclear.
Nuclear.
Yeah. All right, number 1. Andrea, we'll start with you. This one, they say, is easy. This is true or bullshit. It's just true and false. True or
Okay.
bullshit.
Okay.
The main job of a nuclear reactor is to house and control nuclear fusion, which is a process where atoms split and release energy. True.
True.
Or bullshit?
True.
No, that is incorrect.
Whatever.
It is-
So whatever.
It is
I agree.
actually nuclear fission.
Fission.
Oh. Well.
Oh, did you say fusion?
I said fusion.
Okay.
She was tricky, Andrea. That was tricky.
That was tricky.
I was being
Don't
quite
make
tricky.
me feel better.
Fine.
I'm joining Wise. I'm gonna go. Saturday.
Yes, exactly.
Be nice
So-
to her. I want her to wax my eyebrows, and I want to come back.
Oh,
with,
yeah,
like,
you're right.
Yeah,
No,
and
you're
you
right,
still
you're right,
want
you're right.
eyebrows.
Singed off.
That's okay. We're gonna
All
get.
I know
We're
about
gonna
is
get.
waxing eyebrows. I don't know about nuclear power plants.
We're gonna get her. We're gonna get Brooke with this question. All right. So it'll be in Andrea's benefit. Brooke, tell us how a nuclear power plant works. Besides pressing the button,
What?
just the basic. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, just like a basic overview of like what's happening
is
in there.
it?
What's happening in there?
so what's happening is what you are doing is harnessing all of the energy that is created by fission, but it's a very
Yes.
delicate and controlled situation that
Yes.
the thing that I don't understand though is like are these nuclear power plants, hoarding and storing this energy just for the potential of war? Because I don't understand it. Nuclear energy is
Wait,
not a
why
huge
are we
part of our
doing it?
power grid. So I don't fully
I
understand.
think it's because it's not understood like it should be.
I mean, I get that
Ah.
too, but I mean, for the most part, all we've seen are the bad effects of nuclear power plants having meltdowns
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
poisoning and destroying whole swaths of countries. But so, like how it works, a little bit on the fence, and why we have it is still globally like a big question. So you
Right.
don't have to take that for an answer because I don't actually know. Andrew, feel free.
you have a-
Steal it.
Andrea,
I'm
yeah,
gonna say
chime
it
in.
works
Chime in.
by containing fission, which is splitting atoms and creating energy.
Yes.
Or
I did say
Yes,
that.
Basically,
It's
basically,
facilitating it.
basically, you both said the same thing, and that basically is true. So I'll just go ahead and give you a point. Why not? I'm feeling
Okay.
super
You're
generous.
still winning, Brooke.
Brooke or both? Brooke?
Give Andrea just
Give me
her
a little
point.
star. Give me a
Just
little
give her-
star on my
We'll
chart.
give you a
would
star
ya?
and a sticker.
I
Yes.
need to feel special too.
I know. We need you to feel
We're
special.
giving you a self-esteem point.
I think you
Oh
should
wait,
put her
did I
name
say
on the
that out
board.
loud? No, I'm just kidding. Her name on the board. So basically, reactors use uranium for nuclear fuel. The uranium is processed into these little tiny pellets packed into these sealed metal tubes called fuel rods. They shove the fuel rods into a reactor core. In there, that's where they're immersed in water, and that's where they start to split atoms. Okay, I don't know. I don't know either. It's confusing.
Listen, we've all
But
seen the opening of The
basically-
Simpsons. So
I was
The
just
heat-
gonna say
yeah,
that.
exactly,
That's all
exactly.
I know. That's
so
all
then
I
the
know.
heat that's created turns. This is where the power comes from. The heat that's created by the fission turns water into steam, which spins a turbine to produce carbon-free electricity. So that's why.
But we don't use it.
No, we do use it, and that's my next question, Andrea. What percentage of America's electricity comes from nuclear power plants? I'll give you an A, B, and C.
Okay.
Does it provide 10%, 20%, or 30% of U.S. electricity?
I will just go. I'm gonna go 20%.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And apparently, actually, nuclear power provides 50% of carbon-free electricity. So anything that is a carbon-free electricity producer in America,
50%.
Actually, nuclear power is about 50% of that.
Wow.
Yes. And then here's a question for both of you. How many commercial nuclear reactors are there in the U.S.? Like, how many of these plants are in the U.S.?
Oh.
Just guess.
I'm gonna go 50. I'm gonna say 50.
I'm gonna give Andrea a point because she got closer. It's 94.
Wow.
There's 94 of these buddies.
I was trying to prices right us, and I'm like,
one.
$1.
Yeah, you didn't want to go over.
$1.
Exactly.
$1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Brooke, I have a question for you about women in nuclear science. Women account for less. Oh, actually, just women scientists in general. Never mind. Just all science. Women account for less than what % of the world's scientists and researchers? 20%, 30%, or 40%? Women account for less than what % of the world's scientists and researchers? It's actually 30%.
It is 30?
It's actually
Okay.
30%. Yeah.
Brooke, that could have been you if your track coach didn't hold you down.
I know. It could have been so many of us, you know? It's like my mom is like, she's a nurse, but she's like, I wanted to be a doctor and a lawyer, you know, and societal norms, man.
Yeah.
All right. 2 more questions for you ladies. Andrea, in the 1983 film War Games, starring Matthew Broderick as David Lightman, a bright but unmotivated Seattle high school student and hacker who, thinking he's playing a game, hacks into a supercomputer missile launch control center and simulates a Russian nuclear attack. What is the tactic that he and Dr. Stephen Falcon, played by John Wood, used to stop the very real nuclear counterattack against Russia that the computer is about to launch? Wow, is that one sentence? Sorry. Anyway, what was the tactic that they used to stop this supercomputer from attacking Russia? A, they redirect it to an uninhabited part of Siberia and hope for the best. B, they direct the computer to play a tic-tac-toe game against itself. Or C, they unplug it and then surprisingly plug it back in.
My husband would be so mad at me for not knowing this. I think it's B.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, that sounds really cinematic. I'm like, I would watch that. I would definitely watch that.
Yes. They direct the computer to play tic-tac-toe against itself. This results in a long string of draws, forcing the computer to learn the concept of futility and no-win scenarios.
Wow.
They teach the computer
And then
how to love.
It's the computer relinquishes control of the missiles and offers to play a nice game of chess.
Wow.
Because
How
it
about
concludes,
a nice game of chess.
yes, winner, none. Nuclear war is a strange game in which the only winning move is not to play. Let's play a nice game of chess.
Wow, that movie was ahead of its time.
I know.
Don't you think? It was really ahead of
Very
its
young
time.
Ali Sheedy.
All right, Brooke, this
Cute.
is the last question.
In this section.
Okay. Of these female nuclear physicists whose work earned Nobel Prizes, which one did not have their work claimed by a man who claimed their work as their own and have their Nobel Prize taken away? Or they never actually got it because their work was claimed. Was it A?
Oh, okay.
Well, you know who?
I was going to say all of
I
them.
got this. I got
Yeah,
this.
all of them, right.
You don't need
actually,
to give me a
one
list.
of the A, Qian Xiang Wu, the scientist who worked on the Manhattan Project to build an atomic bomb, developing a process to separate fissionable uranium-235 from uranium-238, which is a key step in accumulating uranium fuel. B, Maria Goeppert Mayer, the scientist who also worked on the Manhattan Project, working on the shell model of nuclear structure. Or C, Lise Meitner, the scientist who ultimately realized that the result of her team's work represented the splitting of the atom, nuclear fission, in accordance with Einstein's equation E = mc².
C.
That is incorrect. It was B, Maria Goeppert Mayer, who worked on the shell model of nuclear structure. She got her Nobel Prize. The other two their work was claimed by a male scientist that they were working
I
with.
actually call it the shield. Like instead of the shell, they call it the shield. That's what I had learned, and that's what I remember learning.
Oh, really?
I apologize.
She's making that up.
I
You
inverted the question. I inverted the question.
I see.
And that means the nuclear explosion's about to
Well, I'm sorry. I was choosing someone who had
who had it taken away.
Stolen by men.
Give her the point. Give her the
take
point.
it. I
Give her
do
the
want to
point.
take it
That's
because
okay.
here's the thing. It's like
questions
that's
are
so
confusing. It's
that's so crazy that because
it
I was trying
taken
to
away
do
from
by
her.
the idea of like deduction, but that's really crazy that two women both working on the same project.
Yeah.
One did not get recognized or received. That's shitty.
Well, one was Chinese, so
Right.
you know.
Got it.
That could have been a factor.
Could have been a factor.
Communism.
Yeah, but they literally all were did incredible work. They were later recognized for their work, but they didn't get the Nobel Prize, even though their male counterparts did.
Here's what I learned today, ladies.
Talk to us.
I don't remember anything you just said, and I'm just going to watch the opening credits of The Simpsons next time I try to remember what nuclear
Good job.
power plants are.
It's nuclear.
Good job, ladies.
All right, everybody.
All right.
We have one more.
We have one more quiz, and this one is for Andrea.
Ooh.
This one is very Andrea specific because apparently she knows everything about Christian Slater.
Oh. It's coming back to me. Okay, let's try it.
So we're going to play a game called Slater Quizzy. See what I did there? Slater Kenny?
Slater Kenny, Slater Quizzy.
Got it?
I got it. They're back on tour. Anyways.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Fun fact, my boyfriend lives in a house that Christian Slater once lived in many moons ago.
I didn't know that.
And so did Eddie Furlong. And so did Adam West and whoever played Batman.
What?
I mean, but whoever played Robin at that time. They lived there
They
together.
lived together as Batman and Robin.
Yes.
Ooh,
Isn't that
interesting.
steamy?
They're
Do you think they had-
Roommates? I know. I was like,
They would practice lines on the roof, their neighbor said.
I'm going to
Wow.
come in here and
Wow.
do
Are
his
they getting
Christian
it
Slater.
on?
So I learned a lot about Christian Slater prepping for this quiz. Never thought I'd really think about.
Yeah.
I liked
Sure.
Christian Slater. Apparently he used to get drunk and assault people a lot. Didn't know it. Didn't know it. Didn't remember
I was really
that.
surprised.
But he's changed his ways. He is a big advocate for women getting paid the same as men in Hollywood. So, you know, people change. They get sober. They live their lives. We don't know. We don't know the story. So who knows? Who knows how bad it is? Okay.
Just as victims.
Let's start with Andrea. All right. Christian Slater. Let's talk about his eyebrows.
Okay.
He is all eyebrows all the time, right, ladies? And many interviewers, when he first came onto the scene, were obsessed with his eyebrows. So there's all these interviews with him being asked about his eyebrows. Like, tell me about the shape of your eyebrows.
You're looking at him. You tell me about the shape of my eyebrows. What kind of a question
looking
is
at
that?
him.
So
next question.
early on in his career, when interviewed, Christian Slater claimed that his thin and pointy eyebrows were the result of shaving half of each one of them as a child in order to A, commit to a more authentic Spock costume for Halloween, B, join a neighborhood boy gang that shaved off half their eyebrows, or C, impersonate Jack Nicholson, his hero, which clearly went all wrong.
I'm leaning C. But I feel like he's a huge Star Trek fan too. I'm just gonna do C.
That is
Is it A?
incorrect. It is A.
God damn it!
Which he later took it back and said, look, I was a young Hollywood star. I wanted a cool story. It's just how my eyebrows are. But, Andrea, you are correct. He is a huge Jack Nicholson fan.
I know that. I knew. Yeah.
Yes. And in the beginning of his career, like in Heathers, he would really just impersonate
basically
Jack
just an impression.
Nicholson.
Right.
Yes. Which I didn't really think about. And then as soon as I read it, I was
Oh,
like, that makes
sense,
JD
yeah.
is all Jack
so
Nicholson.
much sense. So much sense. Okay, Brooke.
Yes.
Slater essentially grew up inside the entertainment industry. His mom was a casting director, Mary Jo Slater, and his father is actor Michael Hawkins, aka Tom Slater, arguably best known for his portrayal of Ryan in the soap opera Ryan's Hope. Back in February 2016, so not that long ago, Tom Slater, Christian Slater's father, filed a $20 million lawsuit against his son. Why was he trying to sue his son? Was it A, because he claims he was responsible for Slater's career and wants a cut? B, because he claimed that his son defamed him in the press? Or C, because he claims he once booked a role that was written for him and he was suing for lost wages. So he was supposed to get the job. Christian Slater got it, and he's like, oh, hell no. A, B, or C?
I'm very tantalized by the pettiness of C.
Yeah, it's fun, right?
Yeah, it's super fun.
It's a fun
But
one.
it's incorrect.
That is incorrect.
Oh, what is it?
He actually, Christian Slater did an interview in 2015 about his dad being like a schizophrenic. And so he was suing his son for defaming him in the press. And eventually the lawsuit was thrown out because of lack of significant legal grounding.
What a waste of time and money. Jeez.
I know.
And like
That's
I know.
that's what a bummer to have that happen.
It's a great way to build and bond relationships, to really strengthen
Right?
So
family
that's
ties.
really, I think
Right?
it's a very healing part of the healing process.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so thankful I'm not from a Hollywood like all the times when you're like, if only I just grew up connected, and then
Right.
you're like,
Yeah,
my
but then
dad
you're like-
sued me for $20
Because
million.
I was honest about my trauma of my childhood.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay. All right, Andrea. He replaced River Phoenix in Interview with the Vampire after River Phoenix died. The pair were born just a year apart, and they consistently auditioned for the same projects. The two actors' careers followed a similar trajectory up until Phoenix tragically died in 1993. Can't believe it's been so long. We're so old. So, as a result, Christian Slater accepted the role that had been offered to River Phoenix in Interview with the Vampire. And when Interview with the Vampire was released in 1994, Slater did what as a tribute to River Phoenix? Did he A, donate his whole paycheck to River Phoenix's favorite charities? B, mention him and thank him in every single interview surrounding the movie's release? Or C, sent River Phoenix's family a huge gift basket with a signed poster inside from the whole cast of the movie?
I'm gonna go A.
That is correct.
Yeah,
He
I like
donated
that.
all his money.
Yeah, to
Wow.
whatever charity. I don't know which charities.
That's amazing.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
It's funny.
that's
River
big.
Phoenix's favorite charity was giving to Christian Slater. So that was
Yeah, it really
very
worked out.
Turned
Yeah, interesting. Funny
came
how-
full circle.
He was like, "Here,
Failed
you
to
just have
mention
more of
that,
my
didn't he?
crumbs, asshole, because I get all the roles and you don't." That's what River
Yeah.
Phoenix used to say. Yeah.
All right. I think it's Brooke. Is it Brooke?
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
Brooke's
Oh, yeah.
turn. All right. Slater turned down
I
the
got a
chance to
baboon
be-
heart. What?
He thinks he's got a baboon heart.
I love that movie so much.
Slater turned down his chance to be in even more classic films in the 80s and 90s. Which one of these is not, so don't invert this guy. Which one of these is not a movie that he was considered for and turned down?
Okay, so
So I'll tell you the three.
are you starting to see some of my learning disabilities? Choose.
Choose which one he
Which
didn't
one?
turn
Which
down.
one he didn't audition for? We'll say it like that.
no, which one he didn't get offered.
Yes.
So
let's do
everything
that.
else, okay, so the true ones will be what he did get offered and turned down. What I'm looking for is the one he
You're looking for
didn't
the
get
other...
offered and he just didn't get offered.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Pulp Fiction, The Crow, and Edward Scissorhands. Pulp Fiction, The Crow, Edward Scissorhands. So which one of these was he not ever considered for or ever auditioned for?
I'm going to say he never auditioned for The Crow.
That is incorrect.
I'm gonna go Pulp Fiction.
Actually, you're going Pulp Fiction. He actually was offered a role by the studio in Pulp Fiction. And then Tarantino came in and was like, I have someone else in mind. It was
Tim Roth.
it was
Was it
for
Tim Roth?
Yeah. Yes,
Tim Roth was so fun. in that
yes.
movie.
And The Crow, he was also in the running for The Crow, which we all know that he died in a stunt during that movie. So that wouldn't have been good. But yes, I made up Edward Scissorhands because it just seemed like a fun. I was going to say Beetlejuice, but that seemed crazy.
Because he had like a weird boner for Winona Ryder, and like obviously that was never going to happen because she was a Johnny Depp doy.
Oh, I know, but the reason I was like, because I'm like, we know Christian Slater and Winona from Heathers, so I kind of maybe thought, okay, got it.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
Well, I'm glad we didn't lose Christian because he's back, baby. God, I love him in the Betty Broderick Dirty John series. He's
have not seen that.
It's
but
great.
I find
He's
him to be very
A+
very
Christian
sexy.
Slatering. He's Christian Slatering so hard.
Okay. This next question is for you both. Okay. This is our last question before we get to tallying up the points. So here we go. Now, I guess because we're playing two, Andrea right now is in the lead with 6 points. Brooke has 4. So this one's going to be worth 2 points.
That's
okay.
great.
And then we'll do a tiebreaker if we have to. All right. Does that make sense? Who
Yes.
knows? Okay. Christian Slater appeared in one of the biggest flops in Broadway history. As a child of entertainment professionals, he grew up attending performance art school in New York, and he had done a fair share of theater. As a young teenager at the beginning of his career, he appeared in the musical Blank, one of the biggest flops in Broadway history. Was it A, Dance a Little Closer, a musical about nuclear war?
Whoa.
Hey. B, Rockabye Hamlet, a show based on William Shakespeare's well-known Hamlet, but updated with the help from an electric guitar?
Yeah.
Or C, Merlin the Musical, a star
C.
vehicle. Yes!
Oh my God.
Andrea for the win! Merlin the Musical for celebrity magician Doug Henning's magic. Holy shit, you won with your Slater knowledge.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Wow.
If we're talking about Brooke, I would say I Slater.
Wow. Before we gloat in all of our glory,
I didn't know that
just
this
wanna
was a
tell you-
topic in school, everybody. Anyways.
Yes, it's social studies. Merlin the musical opened on Broadway on February 13th, 1983.
Good for them.
They had 199 performances and 69 previews. Oh, the cast. The cast was Cheetah Rivera, one of my favorites.
She's lovely.
Nathan Lane,
Whoa.
and a young Christian Slater.
Amazing.
Yes.
Did he play a wizard?
He played the
probably the-
young magician.
Yeah,
Like the magician when he was younger. Oh my God, Brooke.
Wow.
Is everything okay?
Yeah,
is it
I'm
okay?
fine. This is
okay.
This
okay.
is par for the course.
She's not gonna plug the show for sure when it comes out. She's
I
not
know.
gonna- yeah.
We just want this to be fun for
what's gonna
everyone.
be
So
about
if there's
this.
This isn't real life, you know?
not interested.
if there's anything we can do to make this better before Andrea
No.
just gloats.
I
and
know.
all
I'm
over
fine.
glory.
It's okay.
You
Okay.
can take your headphones out for her valedictorian
if you
speech
need
if
to,
you
like,
want
go
to.
in the corner.
Yeah,
and
this
sing
is
to
this is a
yourself.
safe space. You can remove yourself and come back.
I mean,
when you're
I'm just
ready.
gonna
It's
take out
fine.
this one
Yeah.
and cover it.
Can I give Brooke one of my? I'd like to give Brooke one of my points so
okay,
we can tie.
even if you gave her one of your points,
You
which
would
would be
still win.
very nice, the score would be 7-5. So you were
6-5. If you gave
Is
her one.
it? Because there's
If you
2
gave her one of your
here.
points.
Are we doing
Oh,
math
there.
again?
Oh, there's two.
Jesus Christ!
Never mind.
She's making Marsha do math.
Sorry, no.
So, Andrea, as our winner, you get to look at all of us and say, fuck you, I'm smarter. And then you also get to have a Victorian speech.
Yes, but
A valedictorian.
But do it in the style
Of
of
a
the
Victorian.
Victorian lady.
Him.
Yes. In any order you want, take the floor.
As we sit here together today as a collective, I think that we all know that whether we lean hard into pop culture 90s trivia of Christian Slater or the life skills of nuclear power and how it fuels our economy, that we all play our roles and are a puzzle piece that fit into a bigger picture that make the world complete.
Wow.
But as I stand here in front of you, also, I want you to know that fuck you, I'm smarter.
Yay!
Yeah. Well, we are so happy for you. Congratulations. Brooke, you played a mean game.
Thank you. I
played
am
a
the product
mean-
of Christian school, not Christian Slater school, apparently.
Yes. Yes. Ding, ding, ding.
The only thing I'm sure your parents did wrong.
I wish I went to Christian Slater school.
That would be so fun. So, ladies,
Wow.
plug all your plugs. Where can our listeners find you? Any shows coming up, your podcast, all the things.
I would just say, please, if you are in the service industry yourself and want to relate and have a cathartic, funny listening experience, or you want to learn more about what we do and how you can be an awesome customer, Andrea, they check out Sidework Podcast for real.
Yeah, Sidework Podcast. You know, we also have a whole podcast network that we started called One Star Podcast Network, showcasing
That's amazing.
us and a handful of other great shows, like kind of coming from every single walk of front of house, even some back of house experiences. Yeah. And you can go to onestarnetwork.com. Yeah.
I think in the landing pages, if you're on Instagram, Sidework Podcast will fan you out to
we
everybody.
get you all over there. You'll
Yeah.
see it all.
You'll find us.
Amazing.
You'll find them. That's
Yes.
I'm
yeah,
like,
you can go down any kind of hole you want, guys. Choose your own adventure.
choose
over
your
there.
hole.
Pick a hole. Go with it.
And I will just say about we did it a few weeks ago. It was so fun, but also I'm a listener and I love listening to it. And I love you guys. People send in their funny stories of when they were
It's
waiting tables or different
so fun.
customers.
It's so
really
relatable.
relatable.
It's
very,
so
very fun
relatable.
feedback about you two ladies specifically too.
Yay.
People really
Awesome.
enjoyed the diversion from the usual restaurant shenanigans, and they were properly horrified when we were like, "It's like working at a bar and everyone stays the night."
Yes.
And you give
Yes.
them breakfast.
We talked about working at a
Exactly.
hotel, and one of the biggest stories we told was about a teddy bear that stayed at the hotel that has way more money than us and
And her
plugged her
own
social media.
Wing of the
So,
house.
if that
Great.
sounds good for
I know.
you,
I wonder if she got her.
I'm sure she did.
Likes went up. Or
they
her
had
followers
they
went
had
up.
listeners like wanting her information and looking at all her pictures. I mean, it was amazing.
Charlotte. God, I
Charlotte
freaking love
Divine.
her.
And I feel like we
Oh,
did a
she's
good
divine, Charlotte.
we did a good job sheltering the owner
Yes.
himself. There was, because I was like, he's just an eccentric, harmless
Yes.
man.
Yes, he's a
He
lovely
and he
person.
is. He
yeah.
really is.
Yeah. Yes, no one. Please, only if you're going to
Only
Say
love.
nice things about Charlotte.
Yes,
Only
yes. If
love.
you're going to engage, do it
Appropriately.
nice,
Sorry,
respectfully.
sorry you're jealous of a teddy bear, but be nice to the owner because
Yes.
Right.
clearly he has more money than all of
Absolutely.
us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying this, and forgive me if this offends anyone. Inanimate object gets more love than any of us will ever know in our whole goddamn lives. I think.
100,000%.
God bless her.
God
God bless her.
true.
What are you going to do?
Probably has a
Well,
better education
Andrea
too.
Wallace, Brooke Van Poppelen.
Thank you
ladies,
so
so much for being
much.
here. This was
Thank
really
y'all.
super
Thank
fun.
you.
Can't wait to go hag spotting.
Yes,
Yeah, in a
hag
few weeks.
spotting. You can follow us at Kelly and Lindsay. You can you could plug all your plug buttholes there.
Where? You want them to do that on.
I want them to plug their buttholes.
Yeah, DM us for that.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Fuck you, I'm smarter.